Hello all, this is the second part of the first part. So we covered polity and governance in the last segment, decoded the entire syllabus for prelims as well as mains. Today we are going to talk about the second part of it, social justice and international relations. So mind you, there are going to be initiatives which are very important from the perspective of pre and mains both. We will try to cover them all. First, whatever welfare schemes for vulnerable section plus schemes for the following categories are important. SCs, STs for both pre and mains. Minorities, again, children, elderly, disabled, women and transgender. Do cover it. Okay. Maintain a copy in which you can do that. Also, we have performance of these schemes, the mechanisms, laws, institute. Performance is more important from the perspective of mains. Mechanisms, laws, institutions and body constituted for protection and betterment of the vulnerable section for scheduled caste. Important acts such as PCR Act, then Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act, National Commission for them and Scheduled Caste Sub-Plan. Then next we have Disabled, the Rehabilitation Council of India Act, People with Special Challenges, the Persons with Disability, Equal Opportunities Protection of Rights and Full Participation Act, and Mental Retardation and Multiple Disabilities Act as well. Also, the National Trust for Welfare of Persons with Autism, Cerebral Palsy, Mental Retardation and Multiple Disabilities Act, Rights of the Persons with Disabilities Act is very important. For Scheduled Tribes, we have National Commission for Scheduled Tribe, Tribal Subplan, TRIFED is also very important. Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act. For minorities, we have National Commission for Minorities, National Commission for Religious and Linguistic Minorities. For women and children, we have the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act, Indecent Representation of Women Prevention Act, Dowry Prohibition Act, Commission of Sati Act, the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, Protection of Women from Domestic Violence. This is, I think, one of the most important sections for both pre and mains. So do be very thorough with it because of the GitHub controversy and also because of certain issues coming up with child marriages. This section is going to be of much importance. Juvenile Justice Act, Central Adoption Resource Agency, CARA that we call, the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences of POCSO, very important. Please mind it. Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostic Act, again this is very important because of current affairs, and Gender Budgeting as well. Then we have National Policy for Women, Domestic Violence Act, Maternity Benefit Act. For elderly, we have Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act. Issues relating to development and management of social sector service health. Very important. Why? Because of the COVID-19 and other variants of COVID. Then monkeypox. That is why this is also going to, this slide is very important. India's performance on various health indicators. How is it performing? Weaknesses of the Indian healthcare service system. Right now you will find various articles on Drishti IAS YouTube channel as well as the website. Health infrastructure in India, universal health coverage, specifically Ayushman Bharat, 𝐸-Sanjeevani, these are important. 12th, 5-year plan strategy. You want to read it, not very important, but you can. Universal health coverage, health insurance, National Family Health Survey, very important. This part is very important. Recently it was conducted, so remember this. National Health Policy and Health Mission, Maternal and Adolescent Health, Child Health, Antimicrobial Resistance, Disease Burden in India, then measures to ensure good health outcomes and government initiatives. In education, what is the status of literacy in India, education structure, NEP as well, challenges which are faced by the education sector, what are the reforms which are required, government initiatives, ACER report, financing education, and also Subramanian panel report, very important. In human resources, what are the needs for skill development initiative, this is important. Challenges in the skilling landscape, again this one is important. Shortcoming, this is important from the perspective of pre and mains. Need, reforms and steps that can be taken are important from the perspective of mains examination. Then issues which are relating to poverty and hunger, relation between what is there is a relation between poverty and hunger, what is it? Distribution of poverty and hunger, magnitude and trends of poverty and hunger, and causes of poverty and hunger, plus cost and impact. Okay, so very important from the perspective of mains, because this is also a part of development economy. MDGs and SDGs, food and nutrition insecurity, a consequence of structural inequities. Okay, constraints in reducing poverty and hunger. Why are we not able to reduce it? Measures to reduce poverty and hunger. Okay, also keep in mind, global hunger index is very important, so do read about that. National Food Security Act, midday meal scheme, Manrega, all these policies are important, and other initiatives which are relevant, Poshan Abhiyan as well. Then let's talk about international relation. Here it is very important that you maintain another set of copy which gauges India and its neighborhoods relation with China, with Pakistan, with Myanmar, with Bhutan, with Bangladesh. Of course, these are our neighbors. Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Nepal and Maldives. First with neighbors. Then comes bilateral and regional and global groupings and agreements which involve India and affecting India's interests. India's major foreign policy doctrines followed since 1947. So divided like this, before 1990 and after 1990. Specifically have a very important focus on policy after 2014, that is the current regime. Non-aligned movement, nuclear doctrine, Gujarat doctrine, look east to act east and think west as well. Then we have bilateral relations with major powers like USA, Russia and Japan. This is very, very important. Central Asian countries, West Asian countries, African countries, Australia, New Zealand. Then second most important, European Union and European countries. Pacific countries, because Indo-Pacific Economic Forum has been launched and China is also eyeing the Pacific region. So this is also very important. Then regional and global groupings such as SAARC, BRICS. I can also add RCEP. Then Indian Ocean Rim Association. ASEAN is also very important. Then you have Quad, I2U2. So these are the very much important, you can say, if we compare it to BRICS and SAARC. Why? Because BRICS and SAARC are specifically, if we talk about SAARC, it is very dormant in nature right now. Read about it, no matter what. But these are much more important because this has been in the news a lot lately. Then BBIN, BCIM, BIMSTEC, IPSA, ASEAN and RCEP, Indian African Forum. This is also very important. Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Ashgabat Agreement, IOR, ARC, FIPIC, UNSC, because India has recently got the presidency of G20 and UNSC, very important. Mekong Ganga Cooperation, Raisina Dialogue, Heart of Asia Conference. This is also in the news. East Asia Summit, G20, Asian Development Bank, National Security Summit, Multilateral Nuclear Export Regulatory Regimes, Wassenaar, MTCR, Australia Group, and then Asian Development Bank and APEC, etc. Then we have effects of policies and politics of developed and developing countries on India's interests, such as One Belt and One Road initiative. To counter this, we have Build Back Better World, cover this as well. Then international North-South Transport Corridor, global trade war, global currency war, Syrian crisis, UN reforms, WTA reforms, Russia-Ukraine crisis, China-Taiwan crisis, all these are important. Okay, moving ahead, South China Sea conflict, Brexit, the ripples of it are still felt. So do read about it. Deglobalization and protectionism, what is happening right now? US is trying to protect its own interests, Australia is trying to protect its own interests, Canada is also doing the same, so protectionism is rising. US sanctions on Iran, US pull out from the Paris Agreement. This was erstwhile, and again it has showed interest to be a part of the agreement again. But what if Donald Trump comes into power after Biden? So that has to be seen. H-1B visa issue, OPEC oil price manipulation that is happening right now. Indian diaspora and the spread of Indian diaspora's policy and engagement initiative. OCI, Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, No India program and other initiatives which are relevant. LM Singhvi, High Level Committee on the Diaspora, role played by Indian diaspora, issues concerning the diaspora, dual nationality and remittances. Then we have very important other agencies such as World Trade Organization, World Bank, IMF, World Economic Forum, Commonwealth of Nations, because the Queen recently died, so this is also very important, do read about it. These were certain important issues that you need to cover from the perspective of mains, and very importantly, prelims, and very importantly for mains as well. So do read all about these topics thoroughly and you will definitely get through prelims. Thank you so much for watching.